you might start out with only your first level connection seeing that video, but very quickly, most of the people seeing that video are in the second and beyond, not your first level connection. So the viral nature is really, really powerful too.
Hey y'all, welcome to Selling with Social, the podcast that helps marketers increase marketing qualified leads, sales reps to shatter sales results, and sales leaders to grow as leaders. Each show, we interview sales, marketing, and social media practitioners, leaders, and influencers to help you connect, close more deals, build stronger relationships with clients, and improve your sales productivity. I'm Mario Martinez Jr. You're now listening to Selling with Social. And we are back with the amazing, the wonderful Chief Visibility Officer of Vengreso, Viveka von Rosen. Welcome back, my friend.
That's a lot of V's.
It is a lot of V's.
Viveka, Vengreso, Visibility, Triple V.
Oh, that's right, huh? I didn't even realize that. You know what I should have done? Because what we learned about you in the last show that we published was I should have said, the Countess Viveka von Rosen.
Now, maybe I should be a Viscount. Maybe I can get that upgraded or downgraded or whatever, because then it would be like another V.
Then it would be another V, exactly.
I'd also be a man if I was a Viscount, so maybe not.
Maybe not. We don't want to do that. So for those of you tuning in right now to Selling with Social, I've got my very good friend as well as fellow co-founder of Vengreso, Chief Visibility Officer Viveka with me. And this is a follow-up podcast to the one that we did a little while back that was all around selling with video. And on that one, if I'm not mistaken, we talked a bit about video mindset and the fact that today's modern buyers engaging that. I think we gave some good stats there. We talked a little bit about how to be irresistible on video. Yep. Viveka talked about the gestures. In fact, I think we did a real role play and I gave you a script.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
That's right. And you actually critiqued the script as well as my gestures, modulation, those types of things. And so what I invited Viveka back for is to spend time on this concept that we talk about here at Vengreso with our sales teams and people that we train on think like a marketer, but act like a salesperson. And this is all on the lines of LinkedIn. Well, today is all about leveraging video, LinkedIn video, as well as selling with video. And so we're also going to spend some time today, Viveka, talking about leveraging LinkedIn native video.
Yes.
Is that what we're here to talk about?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Good.
Works for me.
And last time we were here, you shared something with everyone that not anybody knew, and I certainly didn't know, that you were a countess, part of a line of royalty. That was new, but now on today's show, we may have the same listeners or a new set of listeners. You got to give our listeners something else about you that nobody knows by looking at your social profiles, which, as I said before, is almost impossible because you're all over social. Tell us something, Viv.
Oh, gosh. I thought that was going to be good enough for at least 2.
New show, new time, new place. Give us something.
New time, new place. So I wrote a science fiction novel when I was 19 years old that never got published, but I did write it. And I actually wrote a trilogy, which never got published, but now they're self-publishing. So maybe, when and if I ever retire, I'll revisit that. What was interesting about that book is way before the movie The Matrix, which is aging myself, all over again, but it was very Matrix-y. So it was kind of interesting how you've got that like supra consciousness that is affecting people. So there you go. I wrote a science fiction novel back when I was 19.
I have an idea. What we should probably do is we should take that script and send it to a mid-tier publisher and have them publish that for you. Because the reality is you're the great Viveka von Rosen. I think we're going to do that. We're going to publish.
There we go. Okay.
We're going to get that trilogy published.
I love it.
Actually, your background, what was your degree in?
So I have a split English and religion and culture, which actually really fed it. And then I started my PhD in women's studies, which it's a very feminist science fiction novel. So they all kind of feed into there. And I'm obviously really using my Native American women in autobiography master's degree right now as the chief visibility officer over at Vengreso. That's another thing people don't know about me. I got my master's in Native American women's autobiography.
There you go. See, now
I'm not even lying about that.
I don't even think that's on your LinkedIn profile. Do you even have that master's degree on your profile?
No, I think I do have my master's degree on there, but I put the more generic religion and culture, or actually I think I put the even more generic humanities down.
Oh, wow. So Native American, what was it again?
Native American women's autobiography. I went to a small arts college, and you could basically like make your own masters, and that's what interested me at the time. So
Native American women's
autobiography.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm going with it.
It's not hugely relevant to digital sales transformation.
Right? Well, one might think so. Yeah, one might think that would agree with you. But here's what I'll tell you. If for some reason it doesn't work out here at Vengreso, you could go back to writing about Native American women's autobiography.
I know, in alternate universes. Exactly.
All right. Well, let's get down to business. You and I always have too much fun on the podcast. For those of you listening in, this is part 2 of our podcast on selling with social that is talking about leveraging video for sales or selling with video. And specifically, this one is all about LinkedIn video. And here at Vengreso, we have an entire program that is around selling with video for training sales organizations. But what I want Viv to take some time to talk through is this concept of, we talk about thinking like a marketer and acting like a salesperson. And it's not just specific to video. It is how a salesperson today should be a modern salesperson, and how they are trying to engage with buyers in a different way and thinking like a marketer. But do me a favor, tell us what this concept, think like a marketer, but act like a salesperson, means in the concept of digital prospecting.
Okay, and I'll tell you what it means as far as what I consider it means, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. And here's the thing that's very interesting. I always thought I was a sales trainer because I did a lot of sales training. And then I backed up and went, oh, wait, both my books are in marketing. And I think the reason I thought I was a sales trainer was because I did a lot of sales training. But it's because with the marketing, it is so aligned right now, or at least it should be. Here's the facts. As a sales professional, you are the one who's on the front line. Mm-hmm. You are the one who's actually engaging with the prospect. You are the one that's actually making the company money, which is why you are probably getting paid more than the marketing department is. However, the marketing department is there to support you in that process, and there's often a huge disconnect. And so I think the modern seller needs to think like a marketer, so that he or she can provide the education that his or her buyer needs, but also that he or she can inform marketing of what your needs are, of when you're reaching out to a prospect, I need this resource. It's great that you have these buyer personas, and it's great that you've got, whatever videos and whatever marketing resources you have for me, but this is what I actually need. And so you have to take on, as a modern seller, it is your responsibility, I think, to move beyond just like making the phone calls and selling the product and service, to positioning yourself as an educator, to getting the right resources to help position you as an educator and as a trusted advisor. Because the fact is, in the modern buyer's journey, they don't want to be sold to. I don't think we've ever wanted to be sold to. Right. Is there anyone here that goes to car dealerships on the weekend just for fun to be sold to? Probably not. People do not want to be sold to, but they do want to be educated, and they do want to form relationships with people that can help them make their decisions. Because a thing that a sales professional who's extremely successful does well is it makes the buyer's decision easier. I don't actually want to go out, and there are people who do, but I don't want to go out and spend 48 hours researching every car that's out there so that I can come to the decision myself, so that I can go to the dealership and then get sold to. I want to meet someone at a networking event, or I want to find someone through LinkedIn who I feel like I can trust because they've positioned themselves as an expert and I like what they're writing and sharing about whatever kind of car it is. And I can reach out to them and they can become my trusted advisor and they can make my buying decision faster and easier and I can feel a lot more confident in it. And so that's what we have to do as modern sellers is we have to position ourselves in that way. And that's where I think the marketing and the sales really comes together.
I agree with everything that you said. And let's put this in the practical sense, right? In the practical sense, when we talk about thinking like a marketer, as the CEO of Vengreso, I get every single day someone trying to prospect me to sell me something, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many emails that I get that are the subject line is their company name or it's our company name? I see something comes across that says Vengreso.
Yeah.
Okay. That didn't capture my attention, right?
Yeah.
Or I see something come across that says company ABC. But you know, what's interesting is we published an article. We'll link to this in the show notes here. It's an article on our website that's called How to Write Powerful Cold Emails That Actually Get Replies. Now, you remember, Viv, this was actually, I think this is one of our all-time most shared articles behind yours. but one of the all-time shared articles by Salesforce, LinkedIn themselves, right?
Yeah.
And a great example of really thinking about this is when a marketer sends out an email marketing message to their list, a lot of time is spent on what is the subject line.
Yeah.
And there's a bazillion stats, but Convince and Convert said 35% of email recipients open emails solely based on the subject line. Right?
Yeah.
And if we think about that as a salesperson, we will actually take the time to think of the creative subject lines that will attract our buyer to want to open that particular message. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's an example of thinking like a marketer, but acting like a salesperson.
And something you brought up, which I forgot to, points of pain. You know, like all day long, I can be like, and we talk about this when we talk about personal branding, all day I can be a quota crushing sales guy or sales gal. No one cares. In fact, that's a turnoff. If I am a buyer, I want to know how you can solve my point of pain, not some generalized point of pain, maybe in my general-ish industry. Like, how can you help me? And so when you're writing, you've got to customize and focus your subject lines, your video descriptions, whatever it is. You need to focus in on your exact prospect. And if you have to have 5 different or 50 different buyer personas, that's fine. But you have to zero in on your exact prospect and speak to his or her exact point of pain and make everything that you do, and this is the marketing piece, make everything you do about them and how you can help them, but make it about them, not about what a great person you are and what awesome products you have. And these are the really cool, features of your awesome product. You're going to turn people off. You need to ask questions, you need to listen, and you need to focus in on your audience, no matter what form of marketing and or sales you're doing, whether it's email or video or whatever. It needs to be obviously about your buyer and their needs.
You hit the nail on the head, Viv, because that actually was one of the 8 components. It was of that particular article that we wrote, and it was about personalizing it, making sure that you focus on the challenges or pain points, as you mentioned, so that you can grab their attention. Because here's, as you know, we're building out a new keynote for 2019, and the presentation is about emails that suck. And in my emails that suck folder, I actually have 78 bad emails. But in my emails that don't suck, I have 3. And so most of them are, hi, Mario, I'm reaching out to you. I work for such and such company, and I'd like to be able to spend time with you talking about your video collaboration needs. When is a good time to be able to connect? No, thank you.
Never.
What's my problem that I'm trying
half
to
past
solve?
2028? Like
exactly. Or the best one is hello, comma. I'm reaching out to you because I want to talk about your video collaboration needs. Wait, you didn't even say my name.
Exactly. Right? Dear sir, I can help you create a better LinkedIn profile. Really? With the book I wrote? Is that how you're going to do it?
Yeah, that's a good one. Exactly. So this is that concept of, again, to your point, Viv, whether you're doing email or whether you're doing a phone call or whether you're doing video, today's modern seller needs to think like a marketer. Yeah. But act like a salesperson. And, when you create videos, we talked a little bit about this in the last show, if I'm not mistaken. We particularly use the OneMob tool, and OneMob creates landing pages. And this is what, if you think about the difference between video marketing for marketing and video marketing for sales, is the fact that video marketing for sales brings a personalized landing page to your buyer, right? That's right. Yeah. And on that personalized landing page, you can include thumbnails that drive call to action. So Viv, we might say directly below this video is a thumbnail that says how to write powerful cold emails that actually get replies. I encourage you to send it out to your sales team, right? As an example. Yeah. So a marketer will look at that and say, do I got the right subject line in the thumbnail and the call to action? Yeah. Yeah. A salesperson will just add the link and whatever pops up. Yeah, exactly. IMG 9664 dot. Yeah. Exactly. So thinking like a marketer means if I was the buyer and it's not really think like a marketer, it's think like your buyer, right? Absolutely. And in theory, the marketing team should be thinking like your buyer too. Exactly. So, in theory, you're right. If I need you to think like a buyer. Let's just take out the middleman. Sorry, marketers, we're going to take you right out. Hey, you know what? Just think like your buyer. Just think like a buyer, but act like a salesperson. Okay. All right. There you go. We might have to change that inside of our content. But the point is what is the pain that you're solving? Speak to the pain. Bring content that actually personalizes it. Keep it short. Grabs your prospect's attention. Lays out the reason why you're reaching out. Establish credibility. Emphasize the benefits. And the most important thing that every marketer drives towards is a call to action. You got it. Or call to read. But call to read, call to action. Exactly. Call to action. It's crazy. I mean, you get to the 99.9%, but it's that 1%, which is the difference sometimes between the phone call and no phone call. Like literally saying, think about it. You get this great email and it's got such great content and you're liking it and you're even sharing it with people, but then what's the next step? It's not that our buyers are dumb. They're not. They're busy. They're overwhelmed. And so we sometimes have to feed them. And your next step, by the way, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, is to give me a call or to read this or to share this with your audience. Like that CTA, that call to action is absolutely crucial on any type of media that you're sharing. You're absolutely right, Viv. But the one that gets me the most is when someone says to me, well, you tell me, Viv, here's a call to action. You tell me whether or not this is an appropriate call to action. I get this one all the time. Mario, I'd love to be able to schedule a meeting with you. When are you available? Or I'd just like to be able to book 15 minutes of your time. Yeah. Appropriate or inappropriate? Inappropriate for two reasons. First of all, you're putting the onus. You're making it difficult. Like when you're available, you're going to start that volleyball. You're going to start with the appointment volleyball. So even if I did go, okay, I'm available Friday at 6. Well, if you're not available at Friday at 6 because that's date night, that's kind of it. Like you could play volleyball for a little bit, but eventually you're just going to start deleting the emails if it even gets that far. Yeah. You got to give them, we love Calendly and now we use the HubSpot tool, but give them some way of booking time that makes sense for them. So that's number one. And I don't know that I'd immediately go with the let's meet. Like they don't know who you are yet. Maybe after doing like a OneMob where they've seen you and they've read your content, maybe you've built enough KLT, know, like, and trust at that point. And the other thing is you're never going to make a sale in 15 minutes. Potentially you can say, let's get to know each other in 15 minutes, but you're never going to make a sale in 15 minutes. Let's set the right expectation. Yeah. I'm kind of torn between, a half hour is a big period of time in a busy executive's life. So maybe 15 minutes is more palatable. But then I'm also going for authenticity and credibility. And I know I'm not going to be able to sell anything in 15 minutes. Are you? Yeah. So I think that time frame is a little too short. And go like 25 minutes. I mean, right. 22 and a half. 22 and a half. But here's the point though, Viv, if in your outreach on a video message, you've provided them value that solves a business problem. Yes. Yeah. a buyer will be willing to spend 30 minutes to understand, to explain more about their problem and understand how you might be able to solve that problem because you've provided value, right?
That's right.
So it's when you don't provide value that you're looking for that 15 minutes. And we've published a video on this on YouTube, and not everybody agrees with me. There are certain sales influencers that do and certain sales influencers that don't. But I'm standing behind what I say. The 15-minute prospecting meeting is stupid. That's just dumb, right? And there's a whole video on that. We'll link back to the show notes here on this one on YouTube. But you mentioned the tools like Calendly as a call to action. But the other thing too, remember, I like doing this one as well. Maybe your organization doesn't have an electronic
appointment setting tool.
Setting tool. Thank you very much. Thank you for filling the blanks. So what we usually teach folks in our Selling with Social class is, go ahead. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was going to say, give them 3 options. Like, don't just say Friday at 6 because it might be date night. Friday at 6, Tuesday at 2, and Wednesday at 8 a.m. And then you're giving them different days and different time frames because maybe they've got a running morning business meeting. They're never going to be able to meet you whether it's Monday, Friday, or Wednesday at 8 a.m. So give them 3 different days and 3 different times, or 1 day and 3 different times. But you've got to give them some different options. If you're
prospecting to an executive, likely their calendar is booked out at 2 weeks, right? So if like we usually teach, throw out a date 2 weeks out at 9 a.m., 3 weeks out at 1 p.m., and 4 weeks out. Oops, sorry, I guess my 1, 2, 3, 4 got missed. and 4 weeks out at 4 p.m. So to your point, your advice, morning, noon, and late afternoon. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks out. Because look, I'm a nobody, and Viveka is a somebody. But if you ask me as a small business owner, even as CEO of a small business, I'm not going to look at my calendar to find a time that works for me. That's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But I will look at specific dates and times. Yeah. And so I think that's some good advice. All right, we spent some time talking about thinking like a marketer, acting like a salesperson. Those are all things that are applicable to email prospecting, social prospecting, selling with video. But now I want to get into talking about leveraging LinkedIn native video. Native video. Yeah. What I'll say is like, listen to the first podcast because a lot of what we talked about when it came to creating a good, video email is applicable to native video as well. But we can get a little more granular on that, of course. Yeah, and we'll link it to the show notes here for those of you listening in. But definitely listen to part 1 with Viveka on the selling with video. What did we say we're going to call it? Selling with video with the Countess, Viveka von Rosen. I think that's what we said we're going to call it. Countess and sci-fi author now, or at least writer. Exactly. So LinkedIn video is pretty hot. And in the last episode, part 1, we gave everybody a reference, which was to go type in hashtag Vengreso vids, V-I-D-S, as in Victor, V-I-D as in dog, S. Yeah. To go look at different types of videos from the different founders, right? Yeah. And it has clearly blown up as a sales influencer, as a marketing influencer, as a social media influencer for you. It has clearly blown up your brand. Talk to me about why is video so hot? And then more specifically, what LinkedIn video can do for an individual. Sure. So, again, with the credibility piece, I think being able to show people who you are and aligning it to the brand that you've built, your characteristics, what you look like, just builds credibility. And so I think that's why video in general is so very important, no matter what social channel you're on. Now, as far as LinkedIn, and a lot of people have misconceptions about LinkedIn video. One is that they think it's live, like it's a Facebook live or an Instagram live. It's not live. It's recorded and then uploaded. It could be recorded 2 minutes before you upload it, but it's still pre-recorded and uploaded. So it's not really live. And the good thing about that is you can do 50 recordings until you get one you like. And if you're newer to video, you might need to do that. That's number one. The other misconception is that it's the same thing as just sharing a link from YouTube, and it's not. This is actually native video that you shoot and then upload either from your phone or from your computer. And the reason for that, or the difference is,
if I shared a link to a YouTube video, it could be the exact same content. In fact, I've tested this several times. It could be the exact same content. It could even be the exact same video that I just uploaded to YouTube and then brought the link over. You're going to get like 10x the visibility of the native video on LinkedIn, the video that you uploaded raw into LinkedIn, as compared to just pulling the link over. LinkedIn loves native content, whether it's an update or a video. They love the native content. And so they promote it. They help to promote it. So on average, any video any video that I upload into into LinkedIn for Vengreso is at the very least usually 1,500 views. And I think my top one's maybe 80 or 90,000 views now. So that's number one, is LinkedIn just likes native video. So that's a good reason to use it, because LinkedIn likes it. Some things to be aware of: it needs to be at least 3 seconds. I don't know what kind of video would be under 3 seconds, but I guess that's called a GIF. It needs to be at least 3 seconds and under 10 minutes. So you can't upload a 40-minute webinar. You can't upload, as I discovered, a 10-minute and 2-second interview. You can only upload 3-second to 10-minute video. And the sweet spot, as with most social, is under 3 minutes, and it's really at about 90 seconds. However, if you're sharing a video that you're teaching a technique or a tip, or you're interviewing someone, then you can go a little bit longer with that. But just know that there are some limitations. It does take 4K video. I don't think anyone has a monitor that's good enough that it makes any difference whatsoever, but it is the only social network that you can upload 4K video. So that's kind of cool to know about, and up to 5 gigs worth of video. So those are kind of your limitations. And then as far as what kinds of video, as I mentioned before, interviews, tips and tricks. You could do product demos, but no one really wants to see it. So just make sure that every video you share is not a product demo. We could take out a snippet of this interview today and upload a portion of a podcast. There's a lot of different opportunities. When I was at Social Media Marketing World, one of the things that Amy Landino, she got married. She's amazing. But she interviewed like 50 of the speakers at Social Media Marketing World. She's got enough content. She's got enough raw video content that she can upload for the next year. And so that's a really good piece of advice, is if you do a lot of trade shows or conferences, interview the speakers, interview other audience members. Another thing that you can do a little bit, that we do sometimes with our podcast, is interview your prospects. If you've got a high-level prospect and you've had a really hard time getting him or her on the phone because they think you're trying to sell them something, just do an interview with them as a thought leader within their industry. It allows you to have a conversation with them, and it gets you known to them. And plus, you're marketing for them for free, right? You're interviewing them, and then you're posting that interview on LinkedIn using native video, and you're tagging them, and hopefully they'll then disseminate that to their network. The other nice thing about native video on LinkedIn is how easy it is to share. And so there is a really good chance, if you start to look at your analytics, what you'll notice is the people that, you might start out with only your first level connection seeing that video, but very quickly, most of the people seeing that video are in the second and beyond, not your first level connection. So the viral nature is really, really powerful too.
Yeah, well, and it helps, as you mentioned earlier, it helps the fact that LinkedIn is promoting in its algorithm the use of video. Now, I was on Jeffrey Gitomer's podcast. Mm-hmm. We're talking about LinkedIn native video. And one of the things we talked about is to get some virality going on LinkedIn video was in its first hour, you want to get 25 people or more to start liking that and commenting on that particular video, right? So
exactly.
So if you're a salesperson, if you're a business owner, if you're anybody that's looking to be able to drive influence, regardless of what your role is, we have pods that we've created, right?
Yes,
so our company, we have other people that share our content. Anything you want to share in terms of how to get people to like or comment or engage on your video, and any ideas outside
Well,
of content sharing groups or friends?
yeah. And just so you understand what Mario's talking about, on LinkedIn, in the messaging, you can actually create what Mario's calling pods. I guess that's clearer than groups because LinkedIn already has groups. So little pods by just adding people. And I would say get people's permissions first. It's kind of like with Facebook groups when people just add you into a group or a messaging board and it's really annoying. You just share each other's stuff. You literally go, hey, I posted this video or I posted this update. Would love to get some likes and views. And honestly, the likes and the comments, I think, are almost a little bit better than the shares, at least at the beginning, in order for it to get the greater number of views, which then you get that viral aspect, that promoted aspect from LinkedIn. So that's one thing, to Mario's point. The other thing is at mentioning relevant people in the video. So if you are talking about, say, Jeff Gitomer, or you're talking about Mario Martinez, or you're talking about, Tamara Shank, then by at mentioning their name, if they've got that feature turned on in settings, they're notified of that mention. And so they're more likely to see that and they're more likely to share it with their audience. So at mentioning people. And then the new thing on LinkedIn are these hashtag communities, where LinkedIn is like literally you search on a specific hashtag and all of the updates around that hashtag will show up. And I think they're actually going to replace groups with it, but I honestly have no idea. But these little hashtag communities are pretty brand new. In fact, I've got a video on it, are pretty brand new. And so there's a lot of opportunity using hashtags to create visibility around your content anyway. They stole that right from Instagram. I mean, hashtag communities on Instagram are absolutely huge. It's one of the main kind of visibility strategies that people use. And so LinkedIn is bringing that hashtag community sharing strategy into its own update feature. So those are just a few of the ways that you can do it. You can create an email list, right, of your friends and ask each other. You could create a Facebook group, I don't know, and put the LinkedIn links in there. That makes no sense, but you could. But just find a way to expose your community of influencers to your article and, do unto others. You certainly want to share their content as well. Don't expect it to be a one-way street.
You got to give to get.
To get. Exactly. Be a go-giver, not a go-getter.
So you talked a little bit about this in terms of different ways to use native video. Mm-hmm. You mentioned something about product demonstrations. Of course, don't do that every single time. Although one of the things that I think are really neat and cool. So you mentioned product demonstration that, obviously you don't want to do that every single time. You want to actually diversify some of the other things that you're talking about. But there may be some cool things that you could do, Viv, on product demonstrations that are less than 1 minute long videos that would you put out to your network. For example, on Zoom, they have this really amazing thing called virtual backgrounds. I start every prospecting video with me on a yacht, but I'm not really on the yacht. And every time a prospect comes into the room, they say, wait, are you on a yacht? And it's like one of the greatest icebreakers ever. So why a Zoom sales rep, I hope Zoom sales reps are listening in, why you have not shown this demonstration of how to put a virtual background on, I don't know, but you should do it and target your sales folks. But that's an example of something I think would be of value, is small snippets of a product demonstration that solves a business problem. What do you think, Viv?
Yeah, no, I love that. And in fact, the Touch Up Your Appearance filter has been available for over a year. And as a woman, like when I discovered that, I did a native video on it. I shared it with everyone. And some of my extremely influential sales professional, female women, the women sales pros colleagues were all like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's the best thing ever. And none of us knew about it. So yes, Zoom, a product demonstration of such cool features. Yeah, I think it's absolutely key. I'm talking about the really boring 9.5 minute, this is our car. This is what our car does. Yeah, no, but the little snippets that really solve a problem, that you should absolutely be sharing.
Gotcha. Okay. So once I've produced a video, we talked about amplifying it with other people in the pods and, getting people to like your video and comment on that. You've talked about this in terms of amplification with sharing it in other areas. Talk a little bit about that. Like, where should I be sharing this particular video at?
Yeah, so a couple places. Once you share a video, if you click on those three little dots, you can save the link to that video. There's two things I want to speak about before I answer your question. So the one thing that I would recommend is save that video somewhere. Like definitely use the unique hashtag so that you can find the video again. But save that video. I save all my good videos. I save on a folder on LinkedIn so that I can give them life again. So if there's a video, it's still relevant, but it's 4 or 5 months old, I could go in and I can comment or respond to a comment that's already in that video, and it kind of gives it life and brings it back up to the timeline, and it might get it even more views and likes. Or I can use it as a resource that I can put into OneMob, right? I can put it into Twitter. I can put it into Facebook. So I can take that link. I can literally take that link and pop it into other social platforms and or my email and share it as a resource. The first video I ever did was on video tools, and I still share it. Like if people ask me, what green screen do you use? What microphone do you use? Actually, it was my second video. I take that link and I share it, and that continues to get it visibility a year later.
And wait, so Viv, you said you take your videos and you share them into a LinkedIn folder. Do you mean like on your browser you've created?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a browser. I'm sorry. It's a folder on my browser called LIVid for LinkedIn videos.
Vids. Okay. And so what you do is you're storing it as a bookmark underneath that particular folder.
Yeah, so if you don't use Chrome, bookmarking is the other way of doing it. And you can do that, of course, from your cell phone, too. It's a little bit more difficult on mobile than it is on your browser. But I definitely recommend you save your better videos that are resourceful, that you can continue to share and share and share as a resource.
Now, you talked about just a second ago, they can create a specific like marker, or you could easily search those videos. And we've got one that we use for our Vengreso videos. You want to talk a little bit about what marker we've created and how some ideas on what people can create for theirs?
Yeah, and in fact, with these new hashtag communities, I think it's now more important than ever to use hashtags, both common ones and unique ones. So we have a hashtag that we call hashtag Vengreso vids. Like if you literally go into the search bar and type in hashtag Vengreso VIDS, all of our videos will populate that we've done. And so we can easily find those videos because the rumor was when LinkedIn first released native video for the average user, not just for its influencers, that there was going to be articles, posts, activity, and video, that there was going to be a fourth tab there. Well, it never happened. So your videos all get lost in amongst your updates. So if you update a lot, or even if you don't, but it's an old video, it'll get lost. So using a unique hashtag, like in our case, Vengreso vids, or we've got one Vengreso pics for just images, that makes it easier for us to find our own content and continue to share it. We do a lot of video, so that's why I also save my videos into a folder, because Mario's videos, like he's doing like 3 a week or something like that. They're everywhere. So if I want to find myself, it's so much work. And you can add it onto your other hashtags. So hashtag digital sales, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag social selling, hashtag personal branding, hashtag Vengreso vids. You can absolutely tag it onto the other hashtags that you're going to be using. And those hashtags, well, they used to be searchable just by a click. So now you have to go back into the search bar and type them in. But still, I think they're still searchable by a click on the browser, just not on mobile.
Right.
But it's a great way to...
At least today.
At least today, yeah. I can't promise by tomorrow that it won't be different. But I think it's really important to have that kind of a hashtag strategy so that your content is more findable and more shareable. As
a suggestion, we use our company name Vids, VIDS, as you said, as with the hashtag. But if you're a soloist, maybe a small business owner, maybe you're a sales rep and you're publishing video content, you could use your name. Like I could do Mario Vids, right? Or Viveka Vids as an example. It doesn't have to.
That's what I'll do. Vengreso Vids, hashtag Viveka Vids. That way I can find mine in with amongst all of ours.
There you go. Did I just give the LinkedIn expert and the video?
You did indeed. Viveka Vids it is.
Viveka Vids. Just don't forget about Vengreso Vids.
You won't let me.
You're right. Exactly. Because we need your videos because you're the star of our videos. So people could create those types of things like for pics or those types of things and make it easier to sort and define. So, all right. So we were talking about sharing. You mentioned in terms of the content, being able to share like with a content sharing hub, if you would, messaging group, email team, maybe it's your sales team. We also talked about sharing it to other social networks like Facebook or Twitter. But you mentioned something, most people don't know how to find the link to share. And you glazed over this real fast and you said, just use the 3 dots. Viv, I want you to walk me through, pretend I'm listening, and you're going to tell me where to go on LinkedIn to find these A, 3 dots, and B, the link. So I have my iPhone in front of me. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to click on the LinkedIn icon?
Yes, you're going to open up your LinkedIn icon. On the browser, you'll go to under me. It says if you want to find your article, as long as it's not too late ago, you'll go to posts and activities. On your cell phone, after clicking on the in button, again, you'll go to the little picture of you on the top right-hand side. And then from there, you can scroll down to your activity. Your articles and the see more, your activity.
Okay.
From there, it'll take you to posts and activities, which is in the underneath the me drop down on the browser. So on the phone, you have to go to the little picture of yourself, scroll down to your activity. On the browser, the easiest way is just on the right-hand side to go down to where it says me and scroll down to where it says posts and activity. Both of those take you to the same place. You'll click on posts. You'll scroll down until you find the article, the video, the update that you want to share. To the right of your name, there are 3 dots. Mm-hmm. And when you click on those 3 dots, you have the ability to share via, to edit posts, to delete posts, and disable comments. So with the mobile, you're going to click on share via, and then you can either copy that link or you can share it right to Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, wherever you want to share it right from there. I don't actually use mobile for this because I find it way too clunky. My best suggestion for best practice is as soon as you post that video the first time, as long as you're on your browser, after you post it, again, on the top right-hand side, to the right of your name, 3 dots, I would grab that link because on the browser, your options are copy link to post, embed this post, edit post, delete post, disable comments. I'm going to grab that link.
By clicking what? Copy link to post?
Copy link to post. And then I'm going to put it wherever I need to put it in order to save it, right? So I could even put it in an Excel file.
So you can categorize your own videos.
So you can categorize your posts so you can find it more easily. Or the other thing I can do is just literally bookmark it, open it and bookmark it. Or I can, since I use Chrome, I've got a slew of folders. I can pull it into my LinkedIn vid folder.
Or hashtag it with a specialized hashtag.
Yeah. And of course, use the specialized hashtags that they should already be in there. You can edit your videos, by the way. So just know that if you need to, well, not the video itself, but you can edit the description around the video. So just know that if you have a spelling mistake, like apparently I had this morning, social media.
When you say edit the description, you're talking about the status update?
Yeah, the status update that goes with the video, which, by the way, another ninja trick, use as much of those 1,200 characters as possible.
Yeah. And last and final thing I want to ask you, I have an opinion on this, and I have not asked you your opinion on this yet, so I'm curious to see if we have the same opinion. But as you talked about earlier, LinkedIn is starting to create these hashtag communities, right? You can search the communities for hashtags, which is very similar to Instagram, right? The ability to be able to search content via Instagram.
Yeah, they totally nicked it from Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. So people oftentimes ask, well, how many hashtags is too many hashtags? And I have an answer. I'm curious to get your answer in terms of hashtags.
I think our answers are different. So I'll give you mine because I've seen your hashtags. So, I mean, for me, too many hashtags eats up too many characters.
True.
And sometimes I feel like it just looks like it's hashtag heavy. It's like you got a big butt. So,
It's like you got a big butt. Well, hey,
color.
there are some people that like big butts. Okay, Viv?
There are some people who like big butts. So there you go. Use more hashtags. For me, I'm a fan of I used to say 3 relevant hashtags, 1 specialized hashtag. Now with the new hashtag communities, I'm like, okay, I'm going to expand it a little bit, like maybe 6 to 8 hashtags and 1 or 2 unique hashtags, like Vengreso vids, hashtag Viveka vids. But I'm still not add 5,000 hashtags because it just, in my humble opinion, it eats up too much landscape and it makes you look like you got a big butt.
Yeah, there's truth to what you just spoke of. Absolutely. I love the big butt reference. There's truth to what you just spoke of. My philosophy is you got to make sure that when you are posting the content, if you're going to have a big butt and use a bunch of hashtags, the idea is, I remember Gary Vee.
More visibility.
The visibility, exactly. And Gary Vee Vanderchuck was talking about, how many hashtags should you use on Instagram? And he's like, the formula is 35 hashtags. You need 35 hashtags to every post, right? That's how you get found. That's how you discover, because they get put into these different communities. People are subscribed to the communities and they're looking and tracking content. And so if, in fact, LinkedIn is following suit, the Instagram model, which is what we believe that they're doing, my theory is, let's see if it makes a difference. And so I personally have been testing with more hashtags to see if we'll get more community engagement. And so far, the answer is not more engagement, just so you know. So far, it's not more engagement. But, however, that having been said, if you're going to have a big butt and you're going to get some plastic surgery,
have a really big butt.
Really big butt. What I do recommend, though, if you look at my videos or my posts, is you got to make sure that you don't use too many hashtags inside the actual status update.
Yes.
And return, and create a big gap in between your content and your hashtags.
That's right.
It clearly delineates the butt from the body.
Yes. There you go. Thank you for bringing that up, though. I love that. Another thing, and I've been playing around with it a little bit, and I think there's something to this. If you add an additional link in the content, I think LinkedIn limits it a little bit, because my posts where I add the link in comments below, or my videos rather, and long form posts too, where I put, check out the link in comments below, those tend to get about 2 times, if not 3 times as many views as my videos and my posts that also have a link in there. And I've kind of been playing back and forth with that. So I don't have any proof other than my videos that don't have them in there tend to do about 3 times as much. And you can always, use a little emojis or whatever. So if you are trying to drive traffic back to a website, or you are trying to drive traffic back to a landing page or a resource, you can always put the resource in comments below. And then here's another ninja trick. Have your friends like and comment on the comment, and that will move the comment up, and it will get that comment more visibility. And you can always share, by the way, the link to the comment. But now we're getting into sharing techniques, and that might be for another interview, another day.
There you go. Yeah, awesome opportunity to have you here on the show with me today. So thank you.
Awesome.
And for those of you that want to connect with Viveka, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, if you Google LinkedIn Expert, my LinkedIn profile will show up. Of course, we'll put my contact information in notes below. And hey, if you go to hashtag Vengreso vids and maybe now hashtag Viveka vids, I'll be right there. And the great thing about that is, whether we're connected or not, we can have a conversation publicly through updates too, which is kind of cool. But any questions you have, you can also, of course, find me on our website as well, vengreso.com.
Thanks so much for joining me on that episode of Selling with Social. I hope you found as much value in that episode as I did. Here's what I want you to do next. Please go to www.vengreso.com. That's VENGRESO.com. VENGRESO.com. And make sure that you get access to our content. We've got the latest and greatest in digital sales training, content marketing, and social selling strategies that are going to help you grow your sales pipeline. I look forward to having you on the next show of Selling with Social. Make sure you also go to vengreso.com/podcast to be able to get access to the latest and greatest Selling with Social episodes, along with any of the other episodes that we've got from Social Business Engines with my friend and partner, Bernie Borges. Thanks again for joining on Selling with Social.